let's start. Tell me a little bit about your time in El Salvador. How long did you live there and what were you doing?
I grew up there. I was born there and I lived there until I was 16 years old. I went to school there. My whole family was there. I had my friends there. Um, everything, my whole life was there, and then I moved to Mexico.
Oh, that's a great story. And that makes me wonder another thing. Both Mexico and El Salvador are Latin American. You agree?
I agree.
Both speak Spanish, but I'm curious. What felt familiar, almost like home, when you were there and here?
I think a lot of it is very similar. Sundays are mostly for spending in church and with family and eating together. How young people have fun um, is very similar. The religion is the same one, so nothing had to change about that. The type of people are very similar, and I never had to change anything about my personality either.
All right, so interesting. Now, for the most interesting part. Same language, but I bet communication wasn't always smooth. What caught you off guard?
I wouldn't say anything caught me off guard. I was very prepared for it to be very different than it was in El Salvador. Because, for example, there we use vos instead of tú. And here, nobody uses that, so I had to stop using that. I don't use that anymore. And now I'm very used to saying tú. So in El Salvador, it was like vos sabes. And here it's tú sabes. So it's very different. The fun exchange and yes, it's very different, but I got used to it very fast.
How did you adapt to it?
By talking to people, I never really asked what any of the slang meant because it was very easy to kind of guess what it meant based on what they were saying. Um, I spent a lot of time using my own slang, but I saw that many people wouldn't get it or they were confused or they would ask what the word I was using meant. So I stopped using my slang altogether and I started using their slang, and I wouldn't say that it was hard. I think I got used to it very quickly.
All right. And for someone moving from El Salvador to Mexico for their first time, what advice could you give to those people?
I know it that it feels like a very big change and that it feels like your whole life is about to change completely, but it's a very easy for me. It was a very easy experience. I never had any trouble adapting because also I feel like if you're a person that hasn't been very stable during their life, I moved houses, I moved schools, so for me it was very easy to adapt to a whole new country, especially because we spoke the same language. So I think you just have to go to your new country with an open mind and an open heart to other cultures, even though I never had any cultural differences. But an open mind, I would say, is the best option.
And for my last question, and no, no, not my last question, another question. Can you give me a real moment and something that went sideways because of a cultural or maybe a language gap? Maybe something you said that people didn't understood, or the other way around?
So when I got here, I had spent like 2 months in Merida, and I wanted to get yarn for a school activity, and I went to the supermarket and I went to Office Depot, and I kept asking the cashiers. Over there we call yarn lana, so I kept asking the cashiers if they had lana, and they thought that I don't know if they thought like I was assaulting them because I was asking for money, but they didn't understand, and I didn't know what other word I could use instead of lana, and then I know that it was estambre. That's a better word for it, but that was embarrassing and funny.
Okay, great. What a weird interaction. Well, looking back, what's your honest take on the culture, on the Mexican culture? Well, can you give me something good about it and something bad about it, please?
I really love the Mexican culture. I think it's very personal. I think it's very deep and everything has its own meaning, which I think is beautiful. I love the colors. Everything has its story, its purpose. Something I don't like, I government maybe. I'm I think I should learn more about that before commenting any further, but I would say for now that's it because I really love most of Mexico and most of its culture.
Luciana, thank you very much. I think there's a lesson in this. Even when two cultures share a language, the way they communicate can be very different. And the only way to bridge the gap is literally to ask and to be there and to listen to the people and stay curious. Thanks everyone for watching and Mario Enriquez, and that was our intercultural interview. We'll see you the next time.
Bye.